You mean these live doves I've got up my sleeves are not part of it? Yeah, yeah, it's there. Yeah, that's why the deodorant's called Dove. My name's Michael, and I honestly don't have doves or other small birds in my armpits. Just to clarify that. They are wonderful. They're off. Was indeed. Uh, some flowers. I did end up buying a two cards because my daughter lost one, so I had to buy another one. So I'm hoping she finds it and we can use that one next year. Well, I was prepared for once, and I got it early, and it disappeared up into her bedroom, and her bedroom's a bit of a wardrobe, so it just sort of vanished. Freddie, it's a good film. I like that film. Rocket Man, Judy Garland. I think so. Do you own a record player? Yeah. Yeah, I liked it how it took it up to Live Aid, so it sort of ended on a high. So, because I remember at the time it was quite sad seeing him decline. I think so. I don't know. Yeah. No, I don't know. No, it's a good film. I enjoyed it. I've only seen it the once. How does that work then? Well, it's a dancing one, isn't it? Don't you have a? Aren't you supposed to have a camera and a? I remember it on like the old PlayStations. Have you got the one that comes apart, not the Switch Lite? Yeah, on the Wii. I think it was on various things, weren't it? Made the Wii more modern. Well, they did the Wii U. I mean, we've still got our original Wii set up downstairs in the dining room, but we very rarely play anything on it. But yeah, I never got the Wii U because that had the controller with the screen in the middle. It was like a great big box thing. No, I didn't pick it up. Yes, the balance board thing. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. Is that what it did? I didn't even know it did that. Mine just used to go boom, 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 and then he'd have a little sad face. I don't think I've ever played one. They've all been black, haven't they? Pretty much. Probably the two then. I think the three was quite sort of rounded at the top. Yes. It's a good workout then. Last night I painted some undercoat on a 3D house I'd purchased. So that was about it, really. Not really. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yep, my audio has been off the entire time. Hello.
Oh well. If you've been listening to me not say very much,
Oh dear. It's
this is why
alright.
we're doing. This is why we're doing test runs.
This is a test.
We'll have to
Yeah,
get you a little checklist.
it's because I had it on the starting soon page and I turned it off because I didn't want anybody to hear me talk and then I forgot to turn it back on again. What a knob. Never mind. I think we're the only ones watching it anyway, so it don't really matter. I'll carry on as if nothing had happened. Earlier on in the week, I watched Escape from Pretoria. What's his name? Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
Yep.
I don't know why I watched it really. I think they've just put it on Amazon Prime recently. I think they were plugging it, and I wanted something a bit different to watch. So I thought, oh, stuff it, it's Daniel Radcliffe. We'll
What's
have a
it
go.
about?
Well, I shall tell you. It's a true story. It's a maximum security prison in Pretoria, and it's set in the 70s, so it's like during apartheid. And these two guys, one of which is Daniel Radcliffe, I can't remember their proper names, they're against apartheid and they're protesting against it. And they set off these, they're bombs, but they're to like distribute leaflets. So they're not powerful enough to hurt anybody. They just sort of go bang and leaflets go everywhere. So yeah, they get arrested and they get sent to this maximum security prison, and it's about them escaping. And it's not like a really big film, if you know what I mean.
Low budget.
I don't know how much it cost to make, but it's not like a big dramatic blockbustery film, but not a little indie film either. Just, I don't know how to describe it, but it's basically just them escaping from the prison, and it's really tense, and it's like what's the word? A race against time thriller, I think is how Amazon listed it. And one of the things that sort of struck me is I think we saw, there's like all this Black Lives Matter stuff going off now. And I'd say there's still a large contingent of people that are very much like, oh, we're not racist anymore, blah, blah, blah. And, you're playing the race card, you're making it up, whatever. But it was like the 90s when it was still illegal for people of different skin tone to mix or be married and a million other things. And like you or me could have gone to that country and seen it. And I find that a bit like...
Yeah.
It's like, it's really close. It's a lot closer than I think people care to remember. And maybe it's only like our generation. Anybody born after, 1990, to them it's sort of never existed.
27th of April 1994, apparently it ended.
Yeah.
Apartheid.
So I was 13, so, and obviously you're a little bit older, so we could have gone as
19.
Yeah. 19, you could have gone as a teenager, as an adult even, and been witness to it. And that's a bit mad, I think. And it's like people forget just how close we are to that sort of stuff. And but one of the lines in the film, I think it might have been the judge, when the judge sent them down and said, oh, you're going to prison for 12 years or whatever it was. And he said, you're a traitor to your country and your race. And I was like, oh, brain explode. That's like mental. But pushing that, very important thing aside for the minute, the film is like really, really clever. And because it's true, it's what they actually did to escape. They made wooden keys. This guy that Daniel Radcliffe plays, he was just really intelligent, but like in a MacGyver way. Whatever he had, it could like work the situation. And they made these wooden keys, and they had like, God, I don't know, like 100 wooden keys or something to fit in all these different doors. And it reminded me, because, you know, I used to be a prison officer, as previously said. One of the rules as a prison officer when we were in training was your keys, because you all have a bunch of keys, you have to keep them in this little pouch. And it was like really annoying, and it had to go on the front of your belt. And you weren't really allowed to have them in your pocket, because they would rub away at the lining of your pocket and then you'd end up with a hole in your pocket. But you weren't allowed to have them on display. It was like a massive no-no. And I used to think, well, what, if somebody sees them, what the fuck's going to happen? They're going to see a key. And in this film, they actually showed you this guy. He would be like looking at the key and memorising what it looked like. And that's what he did in real life. And then made his little wooden keys. And I was like, oh my God, that's why we weren't allowed to do it.
Maybe it's for that very reason. It was that him in real life that...
Yeah, it could well have been. I mean, I worked in a women's prison. You still got to know which door
it's for.
Well, that's why they had to make all the keys. So right. they had like all these keys. But say I worked in a women's prison, and women generally don't try to escape. They just sort of acclimatise and be pains in the arse, but they don't really escape unless something's pushed in front of their face, whereas men are a bit sort of dig your heels in and dig an hole and what have you. But there was some really, really good moments of tension. There was this bit, and it's not giving anything away really, because you know they escaped from the prison. But like every night they're unlocking the door, seeing how far they can get, you know, with like where the guards are and the timing and things. So each night they're coming out a little bit further and a little bit further, and they get to this bit and they have to hide in this cupboard. And when they try and shut the door just sort of swings open. There's nothing really to sort of grab. There's just like this tiny little, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like the back of the handle that's on the outside. It's like 3mm long, and they've just got this tiny little thing to grip hold of, and you can see it sort of slipping out of their fingers and the sweat. And it was like, oh God, she's like willing him to hold on to this tiny little scrap of metal. And then they turned over his cell. And he was clever enough to like break up the wooden keys and put different parts in different cells, so they wouldn't get found out. And the head of the key, like where the teeth are. Well, he had a few of them in a pot, and they got knocked onto the floor. And the officer's like, what are these? And he's like proper thinking on his feet, and he picks it up, and it's like a photo stand, and he's got this little thing, and he's like trying to stand his photo in the teeth of this little bit of key that he's made. Oh, it was so good. It was just really, really good. I did have something else I was going to say, but I won't say it actually, because that would spoil it a little bit. But it's just a really, really good film, just to get you really, really tense, and it's really well paced, and it was really interesting. And they get away, but they weren't pardoned till quite a long time after, I think. But they were pardoned eventually.
I suppose in them, where it was, did you say 70s? I suppose they didn't have CCTV cameras in the prison. No,
but we didn't have cameras where I worked. There were no cameras inside the prison. There were cameras outside. But it was a bit of an old shithole, and it's been knocked down anyway, so it doesn't exist anymore. So
is that more of a safeguarding issue sort of thing than a?
Maybe. I mean, because I worked at Holloway, which anybody that thinks about a traditional prison like, say, Pentonville, you've got your sort of officer base in the middle, and then the wings are like spokes that come out on a wheel. And then you've got different landings, so, like upstairs, downstairs, and what have you. But Holloway I think Holloway used to be like that. Oh, excuse me. And then they knocked it down and they rebuilt it, basically like a sort of a hospital. But it was just a horrible build, because there were like dead corners everywhere and places you could hide, and it was awful. The
original one was opened in 1852.
Oh wow! I know it is really, really, really old, and there's a pair of griffins that I think used to be on the gate originally, and then they moved them inside into the gardens when I worked there. Because I worked there between 2002. I'm not sure when I left, to be honest. 2008.
It was the prison that Emily Parkhurst went to.
Oh.
Quite a few suffragette ladies went there.
It would have been the old version of the prison, not the one that I was physically in.
Yes, I think they said it was rebuilt in 64.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
64, I think.
Yeah. Yes, 'twas interesting. So you've been watching anything much?
I watched 2 more episodes of La Revolution.
Is there much of that left now? You've watched quite a bit
I've got 2 more episodes left, and I had to really bite myself to not watch the last 2.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 left, and it's at this point I'm thinking it's not going to conclude.
Oh, okay.
And they've not said whether there's a second series coming yet, or if it will be translated into English. So I'm hoping they don't do me over and not bother with it. But other than that, what else did I watch? While I was painting last night, I started to watch a film about the Lovecraft, about his life and history.
Yeah.
It was like people like Neil Gaiman and John Carpenter, all about how important he was to the genre. But my computer told me it needed an update, and it knocked it off, and I never ended up watching the second half of it. Because I kind of knew most of what they were saying anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just about how he was a racist bastard, and how his works were brilliant, but as a person he was a bit fucked up.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because, like, I don't know, it's they seem to be bringing everything out of the woodwork now, that so and so used to be racist and so was anti-Semitic, and I'm not excusing it in any way, but it was sort of allowed back then. They weren't in the world that we're in now, and yes, it was wrong, and yes, you should challenge it and say this is not okay. But to sort of rule out everything that was ever done by anybody that has been racist at some point in their life, there'd basically be nobody left. Because it used to be okay to be racist, They
were saying how he was quite anti-Semitic, is it, against the Jews? But yet he ended up marrying a Jewish woman.
Well, actually, I've got a bit of a funny story. That comes off that, actually. Sea monkeys. Did you ever have any sea monkeys? I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you how sea monkeys are anti-Semitic. Are you ready for this?
Right.
He thinks I'm joking. Hang on. Low,
I
damn
think
you
I was I
low.
think I was done over because we put the water in and tipped the sea monkey powder in or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything in there.
Oh, did they not come alive?
I didn't see anything.
Oh, you've been done, mate. Right. I'm not going to read you the whole article. It came up in my newsfeed and I was like, what? Okay, I've got to read that. I'll try and give you the brief, the abridged version. So, sea monkeys, right? Where is it? Right.
Come on, I'm on
Starts
tenterhooks here.
starts in a pet store. It involves the I can never say this right. Can you say It's not Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
It's just KU. It's Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. A self-defense weapon in a TV show starring Howie Mandel. I don't really understand the last bit. But basically, this guy, Harold von Braunhut, he walked into a pet store and he saw a bucket full of brine shrimp. And he'd obviously put two and two together and thought, what a cracking idea for a present for a kid. They'll love this shit. Apparently, he was a bit of a mad entrepreneur type, and it was like trying to come up with shit to sell to kids all the time. But rather than advertising it like properly, inexpensive adverts in magazines and stuff, he'd put all his adverts in kids' comics, which was dirt cheap apparently. So he's like selling it direct to the kids. Get your little packet of whatever, and then this other little packet of coloured to make water go a funny colour or something. But this guy, the Von in his name, he added because he was actually Jewish. So, Jewish guy comes up with the idea for sea monkeys, right? Where's the next bit? Should have made notes. But he came up with all sorts of crap. He was selling X-ray specs to kids because you could see through people's clothes or something. But apparently they just had like feathers on these glasses and it refracted the light. I don't know how the fuck he got away with all that shit.
Isn't that just kind of like the modern version now would be like Archie McPhee? And Archie McPhee does the really weird, I don't know if you've seen like the tiny little finger hands. And it's like a little hand you put on the end of your finger.
I've seen people on TikTok wearing them.
And they're just really pointless shit gifts. And everything bacon, or it's just weird.
I've seen people on TikTok and they've got them like on their face like this and they're going, oh, no, with these like teeny tiny little hands. That must be what they are though. He invented some sort of self-defense weapon, a collapsible baton with coils, and he marketed it for people that were unable to get a license to carry a firearm. I don't know. I think this guy was a bit cuckoo, but it gets weirder. And then, so remembering the fact that he's Jewish, he starts attending these, and this is something that I always mispronounce as well. Orion, is that how you say it? Orion Nations gatherings. Sometimes he was a guest speaker. This must be the Ku Klux Klan bit. And sometimes he was the honoured lighter of the Burning Cross. And apparently all these Orion groups that he were a part of, they all knew that he was Jewish, but they kind of didn't mind because he kept making big donations. So they were just like, oh, shut up, he's all right. He's giving us loads of money. We're not right bothered. And he's like, Where's the other bit? And he basically, these shrimp that he was selling as sea monkeys, maybe you got some of the old batch because they weren't staying alive very well. So he worked with a marine biologist, and they bred this special variety that he patented, and he sold them as his own, and it's this really big guarded secret, and nobody else is allowed to know the DNA of these shrimp.
Yeah.
But
well, I thought they were the biggest waste of money.
Oh no, I quite liked my sea monkeys.
Oh, now you can get I think you're just paying for the tank, and you get a little tank with a little sunken ship in or something.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy.
Well, I liked my sea monkeys.
Well, mine didn't do anything.
But yeah, he funded anti-Semitic groups. He stood up for Hitler. He was the official lighter of the cross at various Ku Klux Klan meetings. But he was Jewish and he invented sea monkeys.
Bit hypocritical, really, then, isn't he?
Thank you for the follow, whoever that was. I can't see. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. That's just a story that jumps off my newsfeed and grabs me, and I'm like, yeah, come on, we'll do that. Oh, this is going nuts.
I'm going to sneeze all in a minute. That's not professional, is it?
Oh, it's live. Who cares? As long as it's sneezing and nothing else.
It's all held in.
Sorry, I totally butted in on what you were talking about, but you mentioned something that I thought would link quite nicely to my story there. So
yeah, I knew most of the story of Lovecraft, so I didn't bother watching the rest of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. What else have I watched?
What about your pirate shenanigans?
I'm pirate crazy at the minute. Obsessed by pirates, honestly.
Wow.
I've been binge listening to the Pirate History podcast. I think I've got 3 more years worth of podcast left.
3 years?
Yeah, I'm on to about 2017 now.
Oh my good God. Oh, you mean I misunderstood. You mean the podcast that you're listening to has got that many episodes?
Yes.
Got you.
Yeah, I'm up to about what year am I? I'm up to the late 1600s in piracy terms. I'm still reading Why We Love Pirates.
Yeah.
And I've just been watching way too much Sea of Thieves here on Twitch.
You're messaging me every day. I'm watching somebody play Sea of Thieves.
I know, and it's on a system I can't play because I don't have any Microsoft.
Oh, is it on Xbox?
It's only Xbox and Windows. So
Got you.
I can't play it, which is really gutting. But I have to get that sorted. Might have to get a game on PC. But now it's 3D printer, gaming PC. Oh, I don't know now.
It doesn't stop. The list of stuff that you want /need, although it's never a need. We have that argument all the time. Do you really need it? I never need it. I just want it.
Well, I'm kind of
we
thinking.
want it.
I've got probably a 400 quid DSLR camera just sat in a bag, dumped on the floor down next to the desk.
You don't sell things. You keep them.
No, I know.
Forever.
Well, I do when I want the money. And I get rid of a few vintage Star Wars toys to fund it.
Oh, who are you going to sell? Who don't you love anymore?
I don't know. I'd sell whichever ones get the most money normally.
You've not got a Cara Dune, have you?
No. No, these are vintage ones from the 70s and 80s. She weren't around then.
Right. I went on. Have you heard of Displate?
No.
They make like metal posters to go on your wall.
All right.
Obviously, I'm going to have a redecorating office, and as I said earlier, remove this rather gorgeous year planner that just looks shite. And then we're looking at these metal posters. I'm sure the website's called Display, something like that. And they've got some like Cara Dune ones on there. I'm thinking, going to be worth anything? Because it's her as well. It's what's her face? I've forgotten her name already. Oh, she meant that much to me. She did. I can't remember her name. Gina Carano.
I don't think modern Star Wars stuff is ever going to be worth that much.
No, well, it's cheap shit for a start.
So many people that have brought it and hoarded it.
Yeah.
That there's going to be a plethora of bits and pieces around.
Well, there's some sort of a toy specialist toy shop that I follow on Facebook, and they're always saying like when they're releasing stuff and which things they're expecting to come in. And they limit you. You're only allowed to buy 2, I think, of any one item. And they've said like, they've got like raided by bots or whatever it is. And then they've had to cancel all the orders. Cost like one person's bought everything, but they get on it and they don't allow you to do it.
Try to get a PS5.
I've got a PS5.
Yeah, but you keep saying it's shit.
It's not the PS5 that's shit. It's the fact that there are no games.
No.
What have I tried now?
You've done Valhalla, haven't you?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's just, I don't know, did nothing for me. Cyberpunk. That's just like depressing, really, because I was so like built up for that game, and that was like the main reason that we rushed to get a PlayStation 5 in the first place. And I finally get the game, and it's just piss. I wish I'd never bothered. Absolute piss. So my little boy plays it every day. Oh my god, he's so good at. We've got this game called Sackboy, and it's a platform game.
Isn't that from Little Big Planet?
Yeah.
That's one of the first games for the PS4, weren't it?
It's so cool to look at. It's like an illustrator's dream. They've got like the walls built out of cardboard, but it looks like cardboard. Like you could literally put your hand in the screen and pick up this piece of cardboard. It is so cool to look at. And the ingenuity that's gone in to doing the design, it's so cool to look at. And I do like playing that. I have a little bob every now and again. But yeah, apart from that, he's been playing, well, he doesn't play it anymore because it's all about Sackboy now. But he's been playing the free game, Astro's Playground, I think it was. And that came free with it, so although yeah, I have what's it called? Oh,
Don't know.
Final
Hoping you're telling me
Fantasy.
soon.
I'm thinking. The cogs are turning. These are old cogs. Final Fantasy 7. They've remade it. It's all HD and lovely.
I don't know. I don't own a PS5, so I don't follow the games that much. It just annoys me.
I think it's Final Fantasy 7. Anyway, I've been having a go at that recently. That's quite good. I have no idea what that raid business was all about. I think that's where somebody. I think it's where somebody
Google that.
Puts people in your channel. I don't know, but they all appear to have disappeared now anyway. Maybe it's a fun thing that young people do.
These bloody kids. I will say
out
the
my
Hogwarts
house!
game looks good.
Yeah, that looks really good.
And I'm not even a big Harry Potter fan.
No, so I'm not a... What are they called? Potterheads?
I think so.
Yeah. I like Harry Potter, but I was 20 when Harry Potter came out, and Lord of the Rings came out the same year, didn't it? And I was living in London, so I went to see the films. But I wasn't like mad on Harry Potter or anything, but the game does look really good. So I will definitely want to get that. And Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm not sure what it's called, the second one. But I played quite a bit of the first one on the Xbox. I think that's when we had an Xbox. And that was a really good game. So whenever they come out, allegedly this year, I don't know, we shall see.
I'm just looking at the game releases.
What, all the PS5
what Final Fantasy did you say it was?
I think it's 7.
You sure?
No, it might not be.
This like says Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16? If they just... No, it's an old one that they've redone. They've like made it all HD.
Oh, right, okay. No, this is a pre-order.
Oh, no. It's out now. I think it's about 60 quid to download on PlayStation, but we got it for free. You know, when you're a member of wherever it is, you can download stuff for free. But yeah, it's one of the old ones, and they've redone it.
Yeah, the Xbox did that with the Monkey Islands.
Yeah.
They did special editions of them.
Which is quite good, because I've never actually played any of the Final Fantasies. I've not got very far. I only started playing it the other day, but something different to do. So what were you saying? You're pirating Sea of Thieves. What is it actually? I know you keep rabbiting onto me about it, but I don't even know what it is.
There you go. You obviously don't listen to me.
Well, I do.
Oh, he's on about that Sea of Thieves again. Black bloopers go up.
Beep. No. You've mentioned that you watch it, but I don't actually know what sort of a game it is.
It's kind of a... You're basically a pirate, and you sail a ship.
Yeah.
It's either you on your own or you and your mates, and you basically sail around robbing the loot of every other player on the server. I think there's a server, there's so many of you, and they give you little missions to go and do. There's a lot of PvP. I think there's a bit of PvE. As I said, I've never played it, so I'm not 100%.
PvE?
Player versus environment.
Oh, right. Yeah. Carry on.
No, I don't know what it's...
Why do you like it
It just,
so much?
I don't know. It's quite cartoony, but I like.
Yeah.
It looks quite slow paced in that there's bits where you're just sailing, and the sea looks
Yeah.
beautiful. And then when you do come across some, it's a bit action stations, go go go.
Yeah.
I think it works best if you and your mates, one of you mans the cannons, one of you steers. It's sort of a teamwork game. But I say I've got no real mates to play it with, and I got no way of playing it, so it just makes me sad.
Well, can't you meet friends within the game? Is that not how these things are done?
I don't know. Not when you're a miserable bastard like me.
Well, anyway.
Silence says it all.
I need when I'm a bit more with it on this streaming business, I need to get some a tumbleweed just going across the screen.
You'll have to get one of them stream decks where you just push it and the little animation comes up.
You can get a virtual one that you put on your iPad or something. We're reading up on them. But
I think you have to pay a monthly sub though for that.
Do you?
I think.
I'm tight. What else have I been looking at this week? Well, we mentioned Cyberpunk. Elon Musk has criticised Cyberpunk's lack of self-driving cars.
Okay. Is he moaning that they're not Teslas in there? Or?
I don't. Well, I think he was just moaning about the cars in general. I kind of get where he's coming from. I mean, I do think eventually, it will just be self-driving cars, which I actually think is a lot safer. I know there's arguments against it, and there's this stupid bloody, what do they call it, the trolley dilemma that they keep wheeling out when they want an argument against having self-driving cars. But
whether it's that route kills 1 or that route kills 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I get that, but how many accidents happen right now basically because people are twats? A self-driving car isn't a twat. There may be a calculated decision it has to make at some point that you may not agree with as a human being, but, it's not looking at its phone, it's not arguing with its kids in the back seat, it didn't get pissed last night. The list is endless.
I think we need to be at a point where instead of self-driving, it's more driver aids.
Yeah. Well, that's
so
going to come first.
The sensor can see that perhaps you're getting too close to the car in front, so it does slow you down. I know it's available on some cars, but sort of aids like that would be more commonplace.
Yeah.
I think there'd need to be some kind of manual override, or it's going to crash. I need to push the pedal.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just going to get people get in the car, go to sleep on their drive to Scotland.
I think that is where we'll end up eventually, though. You'll just get into your vehicle, you'll tell it where you want to go, and that's it.
At which point they should just make the roads like a giant scale electrics track.
Well, yeah.
The car slots on and just...
Yeah, there'd be no pissing about, there'd be no speeding, there'd be no falling asleep at the wheel, there'd be no dodgy overtaking. I think the roads would be a lot more streamlined and probably faster, because it's all being done in unison. So if you need to get off the motorway, it's going to work, with all the other cars, and it's going to let you out nice and easily, and then you'll just get off the motorway. I don't know why everybody's been little moany bitches about it, to be honest, because I think it's a really good idea.
Look, let's
So-
sort out the electric cars first. One thing at a time.
Well, when are they supposed to be?
I think it's supposed to be fully on it by 2030.
Don't know.
I think it'll be more hybrids than fully electric cars.
Yeah, it seems very close for something of that magnitude.
You're also going to have toll
change.
roads because they're going to lose how much money through their lack of tax on the petrol.
Oh, yeah.
So then they'll end up introducing toll roads because they'll have to make their money back somehow.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I just think there's a lot of issues with it. Like, depending on where you live, you might, not everybody has a drive. Where are you going to plug your car in?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even guarantee that I'll be able to park on my road, let alone outside my house.
Oh, God. So
it's
how
like-
would that work?
Yeah, but they're going to have to sort of have communal charging stations.
I don't know. It seems.
And they're
I know
also going to have to they're also going to have to improve their some of their petrol stations. I don't want to be spending half an hour stuck in a petrol station that's really pants.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, like, where are we going to get all the electricity from? Because I don't think we've got enough solar farms and wind farms and things at the moment, have we?
No. We just need to go nuclear, like the cars in Fallout.
Not really sure that's where we're heading, but
Hydrogen.
Don't know. You float away. Was that
Bring back
helium?
the Zeppelins.
Oh yeah, they're safe. But going on the technological theme, I know it's not exactly a new subject, but virtual reality, as in helmets, visors, what have you. I think it was on IGN's Twitter feed. And it just got me thinking about it again, because I've always been fascinated with virtual reality, and I've always said I definitely want to get into it. I want to buy a headset, and I'm just waiting until the technology is right. And I still don't feel that it's there yet. I know it's been around.
I thought Oculus was getting there.
Yeah.
But then they got brought up by Facebook. And they seem to have gone a bit downhill.
Is that for PCs?
Yes.
Yeah. Because my friend got the PlayStation gear, and he ended up getting rid of it because it just made him feel sick.
Yes, I think that's quite a common thing.
Yeah, I think I've got a statistic. Oh, maybe not.
I mean,
must have deleted it.
I've only done it twice. I've played Alien Isolation in VR. That was as scary as hell.
Yeah.
And the second time was at Star Wars Celebration. And it was, you got your lightsaber and you were being a Jedi, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
You felt like a massive knob doing it to start with, but then you were soon
I would get over that. I'm not bothered.
striking all the poses.
Yeah.
But no, both times I enjoyed it, but I don't think I'd handle more than 20 minutes maximum.
I think
and that was when my eyes were good before I had my glasses to see anything.
Yeah. I think the sickness headache thing you are supposed to get over. It's like getting your sea legs. I don't know. I'm always sick on boats. I get motion sickness really bad. So maybe it's not the thing for me. But I don't know. Maybe it's the holodecks off Next Generation that sort of got me, wanting to get into VR. But I'm not going to let go of the dream just yet. But because there's a few games that you can play on the PS5. They come up like in the adverts on the home screen, but they're not. I don't think they're like really big games or anything, because I know there's a VR element to Skyrim, and first off I was like, oh my god, I can play Skyrim virtual reality. But it's just like a sort of a reworking of the game, so it's not made for virtual reality. It's just the game that you can play.
Virtual reality.
Yeah. So it's not going to be as good as it could be, because it's not been specifically designed for it.
I watched a few play Fallout 4 virtual reality.
Yeah.
It looked really good. The only thing I didn't like was the movement.
Okay.
And the way that they do it was they got their little controller icon, and they'd almost do it like fishing. So they'd cast it to a point in front, and then they'd sort of move forwards to that point, and then they'd have to put it down the road again and move it forwards that way. And it just kind of reminded me of fishing. You'd cast out, pull it in, and you'd get to that point. And it was just, it didn't seem natural. It's like, you've got all the natural realism of moving your head and looking up and down, seeing this and that, and then you're moving like that. It just seemed weird to me. I didn't like it.
These are the problems. It's like, if you've got a helmet on and your character wants to walk forward, unless you're going to buy some... I've seen some things where it's like a 360 treadmill type idea, but the normal person is not going to be able to afford that. I think the VR stuff is quite expensive anyway. It could be like a couple of grand for this weird treadmill. Nobody's going to buy that. I mean, if you were at a gaming arcade or something, then fair enough. But there's got to be a different way that they can process movement, and I just don't think that they've quite come up with it yet.
Yeah.
But there are other things. What's it called? Augmented reality and mixed reality, which is a term that I only learned when I was reading up from this tweet. So augmented reality is like when you play Pokemon and you can see it in front of you and you capture it. Mixed reality is that, but you can interact with it. So aside from the helmets and the gaming side of it, AR and MR are being used quite a lot in hospitals, factories, workplaces in general. I think sort of like what's it called? More technical, like a car plant or something. So they've got a augmented reality picture of the engine, and then is it like Minority Report or something? One of these sci-fi films where they're sort of pulling things out in the air to look at it. There's actually
he's got
stuff
that
like
big
that.
board, and he's got that gloves and sort of moves stuff around and zooms in. Because then they get the little wooden ball of whose name it is.
Yeah. So there's like stuff like that going off now, and I think in hospitals they're doing things. I'm not sure how I'd feel about a 3D rendering of like my body, and then it's attached to a computer, and they're like, oh, we'll just move that bit over there, Move that bit over there. I don't know. That feels a little bit.
It's a bit like, is it the MRI scans where they do the layers of the brain or the parts of the body? Yeah, that's interesting.
So I know things like that are going off. So the gaming side of it obviously seems a bit frivolous in comparison. But Microsoft HoloLens, that's some sort of version of VR or something that they're working on, and it's $3,000. Who's going to buy that?
If you brought the Apple version, it'd probably be 10.
Oh God. And apparently Facebook are working on something but that's as much as the article said. So I was like, okay. Facebook are working on something.
We'll try and avoid that.
So I don't know. I think I've definitely still got my Star Trek: The Next Generation dreams of having a holodeck. But probably not going to happen.
I wonder how a whole room wouldn't not be possible. You just have to have some display monitors that are huge and some kind of sensors that detect where you are.
Yeah.
A couple of fans to create wind and bits and pieces.
Oh, what's it called? Do you know the stage where they filmed The Mandalorian? That's like one of these big 360 stages, and it saved them like a shitload of money, not having to go on location and stuff, and that's how they've been able to film it so good. It's got a name. I can't remember the name.
I didn't know they'd done that until I read the article. And then when you've read it, you can kind of think, oh yeah, the state, it'll go back to there, and you can kind of imagine, not it spoils the magic, but you can kind of see how it's done then, and you're like, oh, that's quite clever.
Yeah. I think they're like going to use the technology to start filming other stuff as well, because it's just a lot cheaper, because obviously you can control things easier.
Well, not only that, you can create exactly what you want. So instead of going to some Grand Canyon to create Mars, you can virtually computerize a program to show you exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So it kind of works better both ways.
But staying with the computery game theme, Microsoft have bought Bethesda. Or is it Bethesda? I always say it wrong. Bethesda, yeah. Microsoft have bought them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bethesda makes Skyrim.
Fallout.
And I've already accepted that I might be 70 by the time they release a new Skyrim. But if Microsoft have bought it, does that mean it won't come out on the PlayStation?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Bastards.
Or it'll come out. I don't think it would be like a Sea of Thieves where it doesn't come out to anyone else. It won't be an exclusive, because Skyrim and Fallout are quite big franchises. So you're going to lose a shit ton of money if you say we're not going to release it on PlayStation or other formats that are not.
You can actually play Skyrim on the Switch. I'm not sure who'd play it on the Switch, but you can buy it for the Switch, which was a bit of a revelation. I found out the other day.
But yeah, I think they'll do like a Xbox, and that'll have it 6 months to a year before it was released. A bit like was it PUBG? Players Unknown or whatever it was.
What is that? What is PUBG? I keep seeing that all over at shop, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it stands for. Is it one of these Fortnite affairs that?
Yeah, you basically run around shooting everyone.
Oh no.
The battlefield keeps getting smaller. No, I've played it once, and it was fun, but I was shit.
I was shit. It was apparently Mario Day last week, as in Super Mario. I think it was Thursday, or it might have been Wednesday, because it's obviously a Japanese thing. So depending on what source of information I looked at, one said it was Thursday and one said it was Wednesday. So
Was there a
dunno.
particular reason? Was it a special date, or was it the date it was released, or?
I don't know. It just said Mario Day.
Okay, I've got to stop banging that microphone.
It just said Mario
Okay.
Day, so I don't know if it bears any relevance to a game coming out, or maybe that's when he was born or something. I don't know. But I watched.
Okay, Mario Day
Oh, go on.
is 10th of March.
So was that Wednesday?
Because basically March is like MAR, and then 10 looks a bit like Mario.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah, so it was Wednesday here, but it may well have been Thursday if you live in Japan, because they're ahead of us, aren't they? So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Ma 10. Yeah, I got it. All right, Mario. But I
First
watched.
appeared in Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and he wore blue, didn't he? He wore blue.
I don't know, because my dad brought me. He went away once, and he brought me like the Game and Seek or Game and See. It was like a Nintendo DS, so it's like a twin
Yeah.
screen handheld thing, but it had only got Donkey Kong loaded on it.
Oh, okay.
And that was the only time I played Donkey. I was more of a Sega man than Nintendo.
Sega. Yeah, I'm sure he had blue overalls on. I'm sure he did. But yeah, I got on good old YouTube. This guy did like a walkthrough of Super Mario World at Universal Studios in Japan.
Yeah.
Looks so good. You like go through Peach's castle as an entrance, and then they've built it so you're like sunk low, and the sides of it are all big, so you feel completely encased in this world, and it looks so cool. You buy I forgot what the bloke called it. But it looks a bit like a watch on one of them. You remember them slap bands?
Yes.
Yeah. And it has like a thing on it like this, and then you walk around Super Mario Land world, and there's like bricks that you can hit with it and collect points, and things that you can interact with. There's a Mario Kart ride, and then they went to the restaurant, and they've got all like this Mario themed food, and they had this, I think it was a cake, I'm not sure, but it had like all the proper like little bricks and the levels and stuff, and it was like this dessert that you could eat. It looked really cool, and I really want to
go. They are opening one in Universal Florida.
Are they? Oh.
Yeah, it's supposed to have been 2023.
Okay.
But I think with COVID, it got put back to sometime after 2024.
Yeah. But... actually, I have a question for you as a veteran of Disney World type places that I have never been to. What is the queuing like with regards to queue jumpers?
In which park?
Anywhere.
In Disneyland and Disney World, both in the US, it's brilliant. Didn't see any of it. In fact, queuing was some of the best times we had because you're spending quite a while with these people, but they just tend to talk to you.
Yeah.
You just end up talking to all these Americans about, we didn't know the Queen. It's not that small a country.
Is Scotland in England?
Disneyland Paris is a bit different. You do get a lot more queue jumpers, but when you tend to have two queues that sort of run parallel, and we tended to see mostly kids. They'd jump the line,
yeah,
and then they'd sort of go, "Oh, this left-hand side's moving faster," so they'd jump the line and go that way.
See, it really, 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 really fucks me right off, and I've basically stopped going to theme parks in England because I get really angry, and when I shout at people, I don't seem to get any support. I just look like a knob. So.
Yeah, you get it a fair bit in France, but I didn't really see any of it in the States.
Yeah, okay. Because when I was like watching this one in Japan, I thought, oh god, I bet they're really good at queuing, because they're like very polite, aren't they? Yes. Stereotyping all Japanese people at being polite and nice and not queue jumping. So I imagine that they don't have a problem.
No, we didn't. I'd say the only thing we saw more in the States of was sometimes they'd send grandma off to go and queue because she wouldn't ride this big roller coaster.
Yeah.
So then you'd get like a family of 7 going, "Oh, excuse me, my wife's at the front, or can we just get to this family member?" And you get a bit, that's annoying. But because I know they're not doing them at the moment, but because we tended to fast pass a lot.
Yeah.
So you'd book a ticket and you'd be like, "Oh, get back there between 1 and 2 o'clock." So then we'd just rock up then, and then you're queuing for like 10, 20 minutes instead of a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So if you plan it right, it's easier to do it that way. You don't really see any queue jumpers then.
I just wondered, because say, I mean, if I was ever going to go to a UK theme park, for a start, I would make sure that it's during the week and when the kids are at school. I think
Don't bother, because they're shit.
Well, if it's all you've got to go to.
Save your money, honestly. They're not theme parks because there's no theming. This is one of my bugbears. I love Disney. But over here, even Legoland, Windsor, we went on this one roller coaster, and it's like, it's themed like a castle, and it's all dragons, and it's really nicely themed. You get on the roller coaster and you go through this little bit of a castle, then you go out through these portcullis doors, and then you're over a car park. The theming stopped, and you're like, "Oh, there's the bins, there's somebody's car, and oh look, there's all the workers having a fag on their break," and and you're like, "Oh, it's a roller coaster now," and you've lost that. You don't see any of that at Disney.
I think I saw that. That was a program on the Disney Channel. I can't remember what it was called, but it was about the history of the parks. And they were talking about like when they build them, they're like building up, like what I was saying about Mario World. It's like you're sunk in, and the sides are up, so you can't see out of Super Mario World. That is your world. You can't see anything apart from sky. So I can imagine.
I mean, I thought the first time I went, I thought I'd hate it. I felt like Patrick McGowan in The Prisoner, where because you don't see any of the outside world.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know if I'd like that. But now
I am not a number.
It's like, I don't need to see any of it.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
everything's fake and everything's put there for a reason, but
it makes you feel like you're in something special. So
yeah.
I will take like my little one to like Legoland and stuff, and I'm sure he'll really enjoy it. But I don't know, the queue jumping thing is like a proper bugbear, and it just seems to happen constantly, and nobody seems to care. And it's like you're just supposed to stand there and let these people walk past you and say, I get a bit gobby. And I just end up looking like an idiot. What do you mean, no? I just end up looking like an idiot, which annoys me even more, because it's like I've spoken up and I've said. There was one particular incident in Thorpe Park, and about 4 squiggly bits in front of me, a lad piped up because I wasn't letting this lad next to me get past. And he's like, oh, let him get past, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up having to let him go past me eventually. And then there were like a stream of other kids coming past, and they were like staring at this lad, and I could see him getting really annoyed at all these kids going past him. When I say lad, I mean like older, like 20s or whatever. And I could see him getting really annoyed because all these kids are going past him. I'm like, yeah, go on, you say something, sunshine. You just had to go at me.
No, as I say, we didn't notice any of that in the States, but France is a different kettle of fish. I mean, at the Disney patch, you're not supposed to smoke outside of the smoking areas, yet I've been in queues where they've been smoking.
Yeah, but it's France, though. They all smoke,
and you're just
they?
like...
Yeah, I think I went to... It was called Euro Disney. It was like a school trip when I was about 13. And it was raining and Thunder Mountain was shut. It was a bit of a shit experience, to be honest. And that's my like Disney theme park experience thus far. But it shall be changed. It shall
Big
be
Thunder
changed.
Mountain in Paris is the best one that I've ridden.
Oh, well, it was shut because it was raining, so I didn't go
And it's
on it.
also the best time to ride it is at night, because it's had a full day's running, and the hydraulic fluid in the cars and on the track and everything's all warm.
Yeah.
So it's really sort of really runny, and it actually runs a bit faster. And you can actually notice it.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, I just keep thinking of things. How do you feel about the safety of rides? Because it's not that long ago since it's been hushed up a bit, but I can't remember. Was it called Smile, the ride at Alton Towers?
Smiler, yeah.
Yeah, where is it about 6?
There's a car collided into the back of another one, weren't it? And injured, I think. I can't remember, there's quite a few.
6 people in their 20s, I think, basically lost one or both legs. And it was all hushed up, and there will have been a lot of money exchanged.
Yeah. So, how do I feel about it? It doesn't bother me. I've been to Disney every year for the last 12, 15 years now, apart from last year. And I know that they run it and they test it every day, and that it's constantly being checked and monitored. And I've even been on rides where they've stopped it and they've gone, no, this isn't quite right.
Yeah.
Can you get off? And we've had a walk off and such. So it kind of doesn't bother me. I'll happily go and put my life on the line for 60 seconds.
What do you think happened then at Alton Towers? Because surely, as one of the biggest theme park in the UK, they should be on top of their shit.
There's probably someone not doing their job right. Or, there's probably some little part that broke a switch or something that should have been swapped, but I will do that at the end of the shift.
Yeah.
Just manually put, hold the cars there or something. Because I think it was at the end, wasn't it? Like the exiting on and off.
I can't remember.
I should imagine that the bloke or woman pushing the button for something got distracted, or I don't know. That's completely speculation.
Yeah.
I
I
think
just
since then
wondered.
as well, they've had to up their game.
Yeah.
But personally, it doesn't bother me. I love roller coasters.
What is the best roller coaster you've ever been on?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one.
Okay, we'll section it off to make it easier. What is the roller coaster that has made you? Are you a screamer?
No.
Or do you sit there stoically? Which roller coaster has genuinely made you not fear for your life, but like, oh fuck? Do you know what I mean?
That's an easy answer. That's Space Mountain at Walt Disney World, Florida.
Okay.
Normally it's in the complete darkness with a few neon bulbs and, flashing lights and such.
Yeah.
But we rode it once with the lights on.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't in the dark. It was just fully illuminated.
Yeah.
And then you could actually see how fucking close everything is to you. You're like, oh, I'm going under the track and it's really close, or there's points of it where you're literally, the bottom of the car must be a foot away from the outside wall.
Oh shit.
In the dark, you don't see any of this, and you're like, yeah, this is fun. But with the lights on, it was like, oh, shit, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I can see too much.
Okay.
Which actually, one of my favourites is Crush's Coaster at Paris. And the ride's based on Finding Nemo. You know, the turtle crush. So you sit on this turtle shell and you go on this roller coaster. But as you're going on the roller coaster, the shell's actually spinning 360. So it's like a waltzer mixed with a roller coaster.
That might make me feel a bit sick.
So you're literally spinning around 360 as you're then sort of doing corkscrews and going up the steep banks and such. Brilliant ride. Amazing.
Okay.
Rock and roller coaster's good.
What has been the best non-roller coaster ride you've ever been on?
Probably the Haunted Mansion.
I do remember that from Euro Disney, actually.
That's Phantom Manor there.
Ah, well, whatever. Same difference.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion's brilliant. The original one in Disneyland is really good. Oh, but then Pirates of the Caribbean's good as well. No, Haunted Mansion.
Are you going to try and go next year?
Maybe. Depends. Definitely 23, if not.
Yeah.
Depends.
I don't know how long to wait before we take my little boy.
We took our daughter when she was 5.
Oh no, I'm not taking him. I'm not going all that way with a 5-year-old.
No, but we only went to Paris.
Ah, okay.
If you're doing Florida, I'd wait. Probably sort of 9, 10.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or just sort of go online and see what the average ride height restriction is.
Yeah.
And then sort of say, you can get on most things. Because you don't want to go all the way over there and then go, it's too small to go on.
Yeah.
80% of stuff.
Because it is a long way for a little kid to go as well. So, and if you get there and then they can't do half at stuff, I would imagine it's a bit rubbish for him, and he's a bit of a whinge. I do hope that changes.
Can't say that.
Where, what, I don't hope he changes, or he's a bit of a
No,
whinge?
but he's a bit of a whinge.
Oh, but he is a bit of a whinge.
He'll never change. He'll probably get worse. Trust me, as they get
God.
older. They just whinge about different things.
Oh. No, he's not. No. It's been all right today, bless him, and he wasn't very well last night. We had a bit of a rough day. He had me up at 4 o'clock this morning being sick, so he was a good boy and he let mummy have a sleep today. So I can't complain too much.
You can.
Well, yeah, and I do, but I try not to.
But you love him, really.
Oh yeah, of course I do. Let's have a look at what other rubbish I've been reading about this week. Oh, this is completely and utterly different. Let's open this and have a look. Oh, that's not what I wanted to press at all. Yeah, so apparently China and Russia are teaming up, and they've announced plans to build a lunar space station.
Is this like an international space station on the moon?
I think so. Russian space agency Roscosmos says it has signed an agreement with China's National Space Administration to develop research facilities on the surface of the moon, in orbit, or both. A statement from both countries' space agencies says it will be available for use by other nations.
There's one small problem there.
Just the one?
Have you not seen Iron Sky?
No. Oh. Do tell. Shall I get
basically, I think I've got it on DVD if you want to borrow it.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically the story of the Nazis losing the war. So they then sent a spaceship up to the moon and they built a Nazi space station on the dark side of the moon.
Oh my good God.
And then they start to launch another attack. They did a sequel. I haven't seen it.
What?
But it's really... It's so bad, it's really good.
When did it come out?
Oh, God. A while ago.
Have a look.
I have to ask the Oracle. Ask the Oracle that is Google. It's loading. Oh. Iron Sky, 2012.
Oh, okay, it's not old then.
Comic science fiction action drama.
Right, hang on. Just let's just roll that back a moment. Comic, science fiction, action, drama. Do they want to tick any more tick boxes of genres? I mean, is it a rom-com as well? Is it a bit scary?
No.
Okay, carry on.
So basically, it tells the story of a group of Nazi Germans that, having been defeated in 1945, fled to the moon, where they built a space fleet and return in 2018 to conquer planet Earth. It is also one of the most expensive Finnish films ever made.
Oh, it's made in Finland?
It's a Finnish, German, Australian collaboration.
Okay.
The sequel was released in January 2019 and is called Iron Sky: The Coming Race, and was crowdfunded through Indiegogo.
Oh wow! Oh, I'll have to watch that now because that's just like so. What was the film? No, not film. It was a book. It may have been made into a film. I think it's James.
Come back and talk into the microphone. It sounds like you're in a can.
Oh, I was relaxing whilst I was listening to your story.
Stop relaxing.
Sorry. It's this chair.
Be using the litter tray next.
Oh God. Yeah, is it James Herbert? Didn't he write a book? What if the Nazis had won or something?
Possibly, I don't know.
I'm sure it's James Herbert. I've not read it. I think there's probably a few of them sorts of stories about. But
what was? Oh, is it on Amazon? Is it the Man in the Iron Cat, the Man in the High Castle, or something? It's about if the Nazis had took over in America or something, hadn't it? I think I know the book you mean. It's not James Herbert.
Is it Michael Crichton? No. Google.
One I was thinking of is Fatherland by Robert Harris.
No, that's not what I was thinking of.
Basically, it's about if the Germans had won World War II.
I'm sure it was James. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to have a look. But I learned a fascinating fact the other day, actually, seeing as we're talking about World War II. What was the name of the village? You might know it, actually, if I start saying it. There's a village in England where American troops were stationed during World War II, and the white soldiers and the black soldiers weren't allowed to mix because they were still separated at that time in America. And they actually had a gun battle in this English village. The white officers and the black troops.
Yes, I've read. Oh God, what's it called?
Can't remember the name of the village now. I read it over a week. But like, long story short, I think the white officers were getting a bit above their station, and they wanted a pub, in the village to be whites only, or something. And the villagers basically said, fuck off. And they put signs on all the pubs in the village saying blacks only, I think, or something to that effect. And they were basically saying...
Bamber Bridge.
That's it. Yeah, it's like, woohoo, Northerners. But yeah, all the villagers were like, fuck off, we're not making it whites only, don't be a bunch of knobheads. There's a war on, don't you know?
Yeah.
So they won't let any of the white officers in any of the pubs. And I thought, yeah, that's quite cool. But this lunar whatever, it reminded me what we were saying a couple of episodes ago when we were talking about Mars, and you said about having a base on the moon because it was thinner atmosphere or something.
Yeah, they wouldn't need as much fuel to break through the atmosphere to launch rockets and missions and stuff.
Yeah. So this sort of felt like, oh, maybe this is, the start of things, perhaps. I don't know if there's a year. Russia and China will collaborate in the planning, design, development and operation of the research station. This will be the largest international space cooperation project for China, so it is significant. As a side note, the US has announced plans to return to the moon by 2024. The programme, called Artemis, will see a man and woman step on the lunar surface in what would be the first landing with humans since 1972.
Cool.
That's not very far away, is it?
No.
It won't be me, though. It won't be me. Oh, I just love all that stuff.
Unfortunately not, no.
And it would be nice to just shut up all these bloody flat earth knobheads.
Oh, they'll still find arguments to argue for it. It'll be NASA just releasing what they want.
I mean, the sort of people that don't think the first moon landing happened, thinking about it logically, you could surmise that there is a shit ton of reasons why it should never have happened. I mean, haven't we got there's more technology in my phone than in the space shuttle that they went to the moon in, and to sort of, try and process that is ridiculous. And I think they did fake some photos. I think that's sort of been proved a little bit, but more from the point of view.
I think they had to doctor some of the images, because I think, what did I read? I think it's something like Buzz Aldrin was a bit pissed off that Neil Armstrong was the first man. He didn't take any pictures of him.
Yeah.
So they altered the name tape on the spacesuits.
There was something I saw. There were some images that were supposedly taken on the moon, but it was literally a mirror image of a previously unreleased image of a training mission in an aircraft hangar or something. They were practicing climbing or whatever, and the person's in exactly the same position. And because in them days they'd just think, oh, we ain't got enough pictures for press. Oh, well, we'll just, nobody's going to question whether we went or not. We'll just release this and say, oh yeah, this were up moon and oh, want it. Not knowing that however many years later people would be like, it's fake, it never happened, and just generally being a bit knobbedy about it.
That's the joys of a conspiracy theory, is it can never be proved or disproved. And the more that it can't be either, the kind of stronger it digs in.
Yeah. I think that's why, like I said, when we were talking about Mars a couple of weeks ago, you go on the NASA website and it is literally full of everything. They've got all the raw images for you to look at. So they're literally like, we went, look, stuff, investigate, we're not hiding anything, it's here. So, to go back to the moon and to walk about on the moon, I think that'll be pretty cool.
Cool.
Because aren't their footprints still supposed to be there?
Yes, because there's no wind. So the sand will still have the footprints. I mean, the lunar lander's still going to be there. The lunar car that they went in, flag will still be there.
Oh, God.
It should be quite.
How big is the moon? Can they, go to the same place?
You've seen it every night, haven't you?
Oh,
yeah, they probably can. incredibly well charted, isn't it? It's the dark side of the moon they don't really know much about because we've never seen it.
Doesn't it go round?
I don't think so. I don't think the moon has an orbit of spinning round.
Is it just like going round?
Same
like
face
that?
facing us all the time, yeah. I thought it was, but I'm not
I
a
thought it
science
went
theorist.
round.
My Google search tonight.
This is where we need sciencey people to be like watching, and they can say, "Oh, actually, I could tell you."
According to scientificamerican.com, the moon keeps the same face pointing towards the Earth because its rate of spin is tidally locked so that it is synchronized with the rate of revolution, the time needed to complete one orbit. In other words, the moon rotates exactly once every time it circles the Earth. Did that make sense to you?
No.
It didn't to me. Stupid Scientific American.
So, is it rotating or not? Much I'm confused out.
NASA. Does the moon rotate? Yes. The moon, the time it takes for the moon to rotate once around its axis is equal to the time it takes for the moon to orbit once around the Earth.
Right.
This keeps the same side of the moon facing towards Earth throughout the month. So it spins, but I think it's so slowly that every time we see it, it's back on its same face.
Okay.
Is that...
I'll just take your word for it.
We're making ourselves look really stupid. NASA said yes, so we're going with that.
All I was getting, this whole dark side of the moon business, if it rotates, then surely at some point somebody is going to see the other side of it. Me.
I don't know.
This is where Flat Earth started. Because, genuinely though, right, you and me are quite intelligent people. Relatively.
Really? We're not proving it to not be.
No, but we are though, right? We can look at data, we can theorise, we have questions, you know, but when you're not a like proper fully fledged scientist, understanding all this malarkey, you know, this is where people end up down holes because, oh, well, I don't understand it, so it can't be possible, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, hello, Charlie Button. Do you know anything about science? Because we're getting lost. Are you a scientist? Please. Well, if it says it rotates, I'll accept that. I'll accept that from NASA.
NASA can't be wrong.
NASA can't be wrong. Brian Cox is never wrong. He doesn't work for NASA, but
tweet him.
Brian.
I don't think he's going to be watching.
No, I shouldn't think so. Oh dear. But yeah, 2024. So it's 2021. Yeah. That's cool. I can wait for that. And it says a man and a woman. I don't know if they're looking for volunteers. Oh, would you? Did we have this discussion last time? I know I said, yes, please take me, but obviously nothing too scary because I don't like putting my head underwater and it freaks me out.
I don't know.
On like on a passenger style jet, you know, please put your tables in the upright position and all that crap. Would you go to the moon?
Probably if I was younger.
You're not that old.
If I'm going to be like... No, but if I was going to be like 7... They're not doing it now, are they? But if I was going to be like 70...
Right now. Here's your ticket. do you want to go to the moon right now?
What's there?
Well, they'll probably pull chuffing Disney World the moon for all I know. China and Russia, they've got a Disney World in China, haven't they?
Shanghai, yeah.
Yeah. And they've got an Eiffel Tower and stuff in China and all. They've got all this like weird replicas of Western things.
I thought they didn't like the Westerns.
Well,
would I go? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'd like to go and see it, but at the same time, it's like I've got no burning desire to.
It's safe. It's as safe as going to a theme park, which you clearly don't have a problem with. So any of that business isn't a worry. Free tickets, not going to cost you anything. Would you go to the moon?
Probably. You told me it's safe. You've paid for it.
It's free. I'd be like biting your hand off. The chance to stand on the moon, look back at Earth. Say, what a bunch of wankers.
Yeah, I think we've knackered that place up.
Yeah.
As long as they didn't have David Attenborough doing some kind of green narration on the way there, because then I'd feel really bad. Because I watch him and I'm like, this is really bad. We're really fucking up this planet. Yeah. I've got to cut down on this and this and this. And then I go on Games Workshop's website and buy a shit ton of plastic that I don't need, can't be recycled. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh man, this is really bad. So David's just told me off. And now I'm buying little plastic things that I don't need.
I know. We're locked into a vicious cycle, are we not?
We are indeed.
I know. Well, it always gets sort of depressing as it gets to the end. It gets past 9 o'clock and it's like, oh, we're all doomed. We're all doomed. We're all going to die. Everything's shit. Why do we even bother? We can't recycle anything.
You can. Games Workshop especially. They should be able to recycle their plastic.
Well, I think even stuff that says it can be recycled, you can't actually always recycle it because it's like really specialist. I think there was a bit of a kick-off with McDonald's and the toys and stuff that you could get. And they were like saying, our toys can be recycled, yada, yada, yada. But it's so hard and so specialist that basically nowhere does it.
Yeah.
So, they can't be recycled, really. But, I don't know. If I had the chance, I'd definitely go. And I'd definitely stand there and just think, what a big bunch of dickheads we are. Because we're just literally like using and abusing.
Yeah.
Using and abusing. Let's have a look on my little whiteboard. Well, it's probably a good time to talk about the future of this channel, unless there's anything else you'd like to.
Nope, I believe I've covered everything that I wish to talk about.
So we started off as a podcast. What episode? Was it 13?
We got to 10.
We got to 10.
12. This would have been 12.
Okay. So we've been doing this for 12 weeks. And we started off as a podcast. Messed about with that a bit. Got the editing up to scratch. Started marketing bits and bobs and doing logos and what have you. And then we sort of I expanded to putting it on YouTube, pre-recorded and doing little clips and things, and then we had a crazy moment and thought, fuck it, we'll just stream it.
I think streaming just seems the easiest way.
Yeah.
In that we can just sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Instead of having to think, I've then got to edit this, or I've got to cut this, or do you know what I mean? It just seems
yeah. I mean,
easiest and the more natural way to create content.
It burned me the amount of time that you would spend editing. It's like, it's ridiculous. There's just, you could be creating more content rather than editing for 6 hours on a weekend or however long you spent doing it. I know it was purposeful and obviously you needed it to create the podcast, but it also just felt wasteful at the same time. There's some sort of
it was nice to have the weekend off to not do it.
Yeah.
But this morning I kind of felt guilty for not having done it.
Yeah.
It's like, I just feel like I haven't created anything.
But there's some sort of a phrase about working hard and working clever, and the two aren't always, the same thing. Just because you're flogging yourself to death doesn't mean that you're actually doing anything better, because you can work more clever and do less, so to speak. But yeah, I really like doing this as a stream. And say if I've, despite the fact that the first 10 minutes has no audio from me because I forgot to turn it on because I'm a bit of a knobhead, but I'll remember that.
Still learning.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what a raid is, whatever that was that happened earlier. So yeah, we'll read up on that. But yeah, it's a lot easier and it's a lot more straightforward, and like I said last week, I feel so much more relaxed for some peculiar reason than when we have the facility to edit it and delete stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That kind of doesn't make sense, really. Surely it should be the other way around. I don't know. But this just feels easier. So this should be saved to YouTube and be on YouTube indefinitely. It's just like saved. Twitch, as far as I know, it saves it for a couple of weeks. If I've checked the right box, because it didn't save anything last week because I didn't check the right box. There's too many goddamn settings, right?
You got quite a lot of programs open to make it work. It's quite a complicated process.
Yeah. Well, to get it streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, it has to go from my streaming program through a third-party website to send it to both things, and then you've got to have a chat that synchronises both chats and then brings them together in one app. Pardon me, but I do appear to have figured it out just about.
Round of applause for that.
Yeah, woohoo! Many tutorials on YouTube later. But we are going to go through a bit of a makeover. Name, art, branding, logos, the whole shebang. But it's all been an what's the word? An evolution. I think everything that we've done so far, it's just, from a little podcast where we sort of talked about what cartoons we liked or what have you. It's moved on quite considerably, I think.
I still think I might go back to it. It won't. I don't think I'll go back to it being a full length podcast of the whole
No.
shebang. I might.
No.
I mean, we're not recording it now, but maybe some point in the future, just like a 20-minute best of sort of show or something. But I've got no plans to do that yet. So
No. I agree. I think in the future, once we've got a bit more of an audience through this, then like you said, you could do a sort of a best of and then release it as a podcast. Because I know people that prefer listening to things as podcasts because they've got that particular slot in their day or their life or whatever, and that works a lot better for them. This is an interactive platform, where people can drop in and out and join in on the conversation and what have you, but that doesn't work for everybody, and not everybody wants to do that. But it certainly saves on work at the moment. So.
it does indeed.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think it's probably going to be a couple of weeks to sort of overhaul everything. I think we're still going to be looking like this for another week or two, maybe. I suppose it depends on contacting people regarding logos and things and names. But I do believe we can change the name on everything, but it doesn't alter like where we are. So our YouTube page stays the same. We just change the name, and anybody that's subscribed to it, they're still subscribed. It's just the name that changes, isn't it?
I'm led to believe so.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be okay. I do intend, like the news, to try and keep back some sort of funny or interesting story for the end to sort of sign off on. I've not really got one today, which is a bit of a disappointment. What do they call it? Fluff. And at news, they have like a story that's just like a bit daft.
Oh.
I think it's called a fluff story.
Margaret from Coniston Close has got her budgie stuck.
Yeah. Although, one thing I didn't bring up that I saved, they have, or they are, they're opening a gaming arcade in Lincoln. No, that's not exactly close to wherever. But it's just, for me, the idea of opening an arcade, I thought arcades were quite sort of like things of the past. So the story interested me, and long story short, they've got all the games. They've got like retro ones, new ones, dance machines, like what we were talking about.
Oh, you've been in your element.
Yeah. They've got like a massive Scalextrics. They've got PC gaming, console gaming. I don't know if I can do a quick flash on this so you might be able to see it. That's something that I'm going to just test out right there.
I know in Sheffield they've got the National Video Game Museum.
Yeah, I've never been there. But, here we are. Right, I've brought it up. So if I'm clever and I have pressed the right button and got it set up, I can put this on the stream. Let's see if she's done it right. It's loading the pictures. There we go.
We're waiting with bated breath.
I know. It's a new thing. I'm trying. So if I press this, Google. Oh, there we go. Yeah. We don't want that thing that says accept, so we'll get rid of that. So I don't know if you've got the stream open anywhere so you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, so they've got like proper machines all lined up, old ones, new ones, what have you. But you don't put any money in the actual machines. You pay an entrance fee. I think it's like £8.50 or something. I can't remember now.
Yeah. Get like an hour in there or something.
Yeah. But yeah, they've just got machines everywhere. I remember going on these car ones and motorbike ones when I was little. But it just looks really cool. But I didn't sort of think that things like that were a thing anymore.
Well, you still get arcades at the seaside.
Are there though? I mean, are there any seasides that still...
Yeah, I mean, we was in Weymouth in October and there's still quite a few arcades there.
Oh, okay.
And Swanage.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough then.
God, there's not one in the town sort of thing. We don't have them anymore. You don't get them in motorway services, do you? You get fruit machines, but that's about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool. And I think you can hire it out for parties and stuff. I think there is one in Milton Keynes maybe that I've heard about. But I wonder if there's an old Star Wars machine hiding out there somewhere, perhaps.
I know a few people with a few of the original Star Wars machines. They did the sit-down one, and then they did the stand-up one.
Yeah.
But they're pretty pricey.
Oh, well, that was my not ever so slightly fun story to end on. But thank you for everybody that has dropped in and out today. I hope you've found something marginally interesting with our ramblings. We do hope to expand and start having more content for people to get involved with. Is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off for the evening?
No, I'd just like to say thank you for those that dropped in.
YouTube, subscribe button.
And a notification, isn't it, to know that we'd go live. We're going to plan to go live sort of 7 o'clock-ish every week, is it?
Yeah, 7:30 every week. If you subscribe, then you'll get a notification when we're live. In the future, maybe going live more often. It depends on what we're getting up to, but you will get a notification. If you liked the stream, you could like the video. If you're on Twitch, you could follow us even. And we'll see you again next week.
Cool. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye!